Hi, my name is Catherine Miller, and thank you so much for joining this Yin Yoga class. I am a registered 200-hour yoga teacher, and I also have a background as a Reiki master teacher and practitioner, health and wellness coach, as well as a background in nutrition. For visual description, I am a light-skinned, biracial Black woman with dark brown eyes and dark brown curly hair pulled into a ponytail. I'm wearing olive green leggings and a top with a black cardigan. During today's class, we will be practicing several yin yoga poses, followed by a guided body scan, and we'll conclude with some breath work. Props are our friend in yoga, and especially in yin yoga. I invite you to pause the video here and go grab any props you might need for today's session. This can be blocks, blankets, pillows, cushions, bolsters, even tissues. Again, feel free to pause the video and rejoin me when you're ready. And lastly, before we begin our session, I want to emphasize that everything I teach is optional. While I am guiding you today, you know your body better than I or anyone else ever will. I invite you to do what feels good for you and don't do what you don't feel like doing. You have agency in this practice. As we begin, I invite you to come into a comfortable seated position in any stance or seat that feels best for you. I invite you to close your eyes, hold a soft gaze forward, or keep your eyes open, placing your hands anywhere that feels best, whether on the mat beneath you, perhaps one hand over your belly, one hand over your heart, or both hands in prayer position, Anjali Mudra, maybe even placing both hands over your heart center. I invite you to take a deep breath in through your nose, sighing it out through your mouth. Taking this moment to acknowledge the peoples of Africa and Southeast Asia who helped to develop the practice of yoga, who helped to spread it throughout the world, and acknowledging the path that the wisdom of yoga took to get to you. I also invite you now to set an intention for today's practice. I recently heard a quote that said, "Affirmations shorten the distance between ourselves and our dreams." And I believe that intention does the same thing. Take a moment to call to mind an intention you might have been working with, or maybe a new intention that comes to your heart and mind. If nothing comes in this moment, that is okay. Allow it to come to you throughout today's practice, inviting it in when it's ready. And we'll seal it in with a breath. Once again, taking a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, sighing it out through the mouth. And we'll begin. We'll begin first with grounding. I invite you to notice all the places where your body is connected to the mat or the surface beneath you. Maybe starting with the tops of your feet or the bottoms of your feet. Ankles, calves or shins. Perhaps your knees, your thighs. Maybe your hands, or even any places along your back. Notice and become aware of this connection that you have to the earth, that it is always supporting you at all times. Breathing gently into this support for 5 rounds of breath. We'll now begin with our first Yin Yoga pose, heart bench. So I invite you to take 2 blocks, or perhaps any cushions you might have instead, and we're going to place them at the top edge of your mat. I'm going to remove this blanket that I'm sitting on, just placing it behind me here. Our blocks are going to be in a T-like position, and they're going to be at different heights. So the block that is going the long way will be at the medium height, and the taller block will be at its highest height. And from here, I'm going to lay down with the longer block along the base of my spine, resting the base of my skull on the taller block. You might need to adjust your blocks when you get into this position to find the best placement for you. You can place your legs and feet in a variety of positions. Again, whatever feels best for you. You can either draw the knees together and widen your feet as wide or just a little bit wider than the mat. You can also draw your feet together, allowing your legs to splay open if that feels comfortable for you. You can also leave your knees bent or extend them long. Again, check in with yourself and see what feels best for you. I'm going to cover my hips with a blanket just so I feel a little extra grounding here in this pose. And extend my arms out to the side so I also feel this gentle stretch along my upper body. I invite you here once again to close your eyes, hold a soft gaze forward, or keep your eyes open as we'll hold this pose for 2 more minutes. This pose can help to bring energy into the body, especially along our 4th, 5th, and 6th chakras. If the soles of your feet are planted together, it also helps to bring energy into our root chakra as well. With the placement of our head on this top block, we're actually drawing our attention and awareness away from our mind and ego and down into our heart center. Breathing here. I will remain quiet for the next minute or so. Before we come out of this pose, we're going to take 5 deep breaths in and out here. We'll do this for all of our yin yoga poses today as a cue to our body that we're going to be coming out of our position. Taking 3 more breaths. And we'll conclude with 1 big breath in through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out through the mouth. And gently removing any blankets if you placed one over you. Grabbing onto the backs of your thighs if that feels comfortable for you, or onto the backs, on the tops of your knees, And very gently drawing your head up. We're going to roll up through this position, Coming into a very gentle counter stretch, allowing the torso to hang forward over the knees. Bringing a little bit of ease to our spine. As yin yoga helps to strengthen and stretch our connective tissue in our body, counter stretches can feel very nice. I'm going to place my hand behind me. I invite you to do this stretch as well if this feels comfortable for you. Just gently rocking the knees and legs side to side. Again, following heart bench. Okay. I'll grab my blocks. As we move into our second position, Paschimottanasana, or caterpillar, as we call it in yin yoga. I'm going to place my blocks on either side of my legs and draw a blanket underneath my hips. You can feel free to fold the blanket twice or double it up. You can even sit on a cushion or bolster or pillow if that feels comfortable for you as well. Placing our hips on a blanket or cushion can feel comfortable to ease any tension that you might have in your hips. I'm going to place blocks on the outside of my knees just to help keep them balanced and in position here. So here I'm going to ask that you allow your legs to just relax. Your feet and legs might splay open a little. That is okay. That's what we want here in yin yoga. Here we're using our body weight and gravity as the force that helps with the lengthening and stretching of our connective tissue in the body. So unlike a traditional seated forward fold, we're actually going to allow the spine and head to fall forward, allowing it to be in a curved-like position. So using your hands as a guide, starting with the crown of your head, I invite you to draw the head forward, allowing the shoulders, the upper and middle back to fall forward as well until you come to a position that feels most comfortable for you to sustain. Feel free to adjust as you might need to in your legs or maybe even blocks if you're using them around your legs. And feel free to place your palms either on a block or the mat, palms face down or face up as we hold and sustain this position. Using your breath can also be very helpful in a yin yoga position. Breathing in can help to create more space in the body, and exhaling can help to deepen the stretch of your pose. So again, here we'll hold for the next 2 minutes in this position, giving the body enough time to lengthen and stretch here. A little bit about what we're working on, in addition to the seated forward fold, is also the energy that runs through our liver and kidneys. The liver is known as the general. It helps you to achieve your dreams and your destiny. It also helps to rule over anger, which is a very healthy emotion as it can show you what you're willing to accept or not accept. Of course, when it becomes imbalanced is where it can cause issues or problems. So here we're helping to cultivate our dreams, our destiny, and a healthy source of healthy anger. The kidneys rule over fear, which also can be a healthy emotion when need be, but sometimes can become debilitating in our life. The kidneys also rule over our vitality and our zest for life. So this, again, is what we're focusing on in this pose. Holding for 1 more minute. I'll be quiet and allow you to enjoy this pose in silence. Let's take 5 more rounds of breath here, if that feels comfortable for you. Deep breaths in, deep exhalations out. Reminding your body that we will soon be coming out of this pose. Savoring this gift of breath while you're still in this pose. And one final breath in here. Exhale, sigh it out through the mouth. Placing the palms down on the mat if they weren't already. Very gently walk your hands in, letting that be the only type of force you're using in your body. Being very gentle with our spine as it comes back up to a seated position. I invite you to take this moment of pause for the next 3 rounds of breath, just noticing the effects of this pose. And placing your blocks or any props off to the side. I'm going to remove the blanket from underneath me, placing it behind me once again. Coming on to the hands and knees. Placing your wrists underneath your elbows and shoulders. Your knees underneath your hips, if that feels comfortable for you. And I invite you here to just gently rock the hips side to side. This might feel nice after our first 2 yin positions. And if it feels comfortable for you, gently walking your hands slightly forward, about 1 inch or 2, and making small hip circles with your body. Again, if this does not feel comfortable, you don't have to do it. Breathing as you move, allowing anything to release that wants to release. You might feel something maybe crack or pop. And the next time you come to the front, reverse the circle. Breathing as you move. And coming back to a neutral position in hands and knees. We'll now move into frog pose or wide-legged child's pose. It might feel very nice for the knees to face the long way on the mat so that your knees are cushioned by the mat. And for this position, we're going to widen the knees as wide as is comfortable for you on the mat. If you want to place a blanket under your knees, please feel free to. If you feel like you need some additional cushioning, I'll demonstrate that here. Your toes can touch behind you, or if you want an even deeper stretch, you can extend the shin and the foot behind as well, if that feels comfortable for you. And when you have your legs in a position that feels right for you, I invite you to stretch and extend your arms forward, resting your forehead on the mat. Once again, we will hold this position for the next 2 minutes. This is an inner thigh and groin stretch which also helps to focus on the energy that runs through our liver and kidneys as well. So once again, we're working on our dreams, our vitality, our zest for life, and healthy anger and fear. Allowing your body to soften where you are, I invite you now to take 5 more rounds of breath in frog pose. And 1 more deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, side out through the mouth. Beginning to place pressure into your palms as you walk your hands in towards you, coming into a seated, upright position. You might want to roll over to one side and maybe draw your legs out in front of you. Feel free to roll them out, shake your legs, even gently tap them if you just want to bring a little more energy into the lower half of your body. We'll move now into our final yin yoga pose together, supported bridge. So once again, I'll place my blanket behind me and bring over one block. For supported bridge, we'll start with our spine resting on the mat. Knees bent, soles of the feet planted firmly into the ground beneath you. I invite you to just gently rock your hips side to side, finding a comfortable supported position for your hips in the mat here. And as you're ready, very slowly roll up through your spine, creating a little bit of space. You're going to take your block at whatever height is most comfortable for you, resting it under the low back sacrum area. Here we are creating space and an actual bridge for our body. Again, working to lengthen and exercise the connective tissues in our body. I invite you to extend your legs long out in front of you. And if you'd like, you can also place your arms extended long behind you if you want. I have bolsters here, so they're blocking my movement, but you can feel free to extend your arms like so, if that feels good for you. Feeling the range of this stretch along the entirety of your spine. Here, this energy is running through the bladder. The bladder tends to not have its own use. The bladder tends to actually work to support the energy of the kidneys. So here we're working on the energy for your determination and your willpower, as well as healthy fear. We'll hold here for the next 2 minutes, breathing in this position to help create space and more opening as we're supporting our connective tissues in the body. I now invite you once again to begin to take 5 deep rounds of breath. These last 5 breaths and moments in our supported bridge pose. Feeling the breath move to any areas of the body that might still feel lingering tension. Sending this breath as a gift. And one more breath in through the nose. Exhale, side out through the mouth. If your legs are extended, I invite you to bend the knees, placing one foot on the mat and then the other foot. Pressing down into your feet to slowly raise the small back and sacrum up, placing the block off to the side and very slowly rolling the spine down to meet the mat once again. Allowing the natural curvature of the spine to return to the mat. And here taking a moment of pause, just noticing the effects of your practice thus far. Perhaps drawing each knee into the chest might feel like a nice balm for the body at this time. Gently rocking the leg side to side. And for the next 2 minutes, I invite you to move into any comfortable stretches or positions that your body needs at this time, before we move into our final relaxation pose, Shavasana. So again, we have 2 minutes on the clock. Move and do any stretches that feel most comfortable for you, perhaps any poses that we already covered, or any poses that your body is calling for at this time. As you're ready, I invite you now to move into Shavasana, final relaxation pose. Getting yourself comfortable laying down on your back. If it feels nice for you, you can keep your legs bent, feet planted firmly on the ground. You can also extend your legs long, even as wide as the mat. Placing any props that you need for this relaxation practice. You can place bolsters underneath your knees or any pillows or cushions that you have. You can also use any blankets underneath your knees, your head, or even covering yourself in them, as you might start to feel a little chilly as we move into relaxation. Palms can be face up for a more open, receptive position, or palms face down on the mat if you feel that you need a little more grounding during our relaxation. You can also place your hands over your belly, or one hand over your heart, one hand over your belly. Wherever you are and whatever position you're in, I invite you once again to take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale, sigh it out through your mouth. Feeling your body soften into the supportive mat and earth beneath you. Let's do this 2 more times if this feels comfortable for you. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out. One more deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Allowing your body to let go of any tension or the need to hold on. Here in this relaxation, there's nothing for you to do actively. I will now lead you through a guided body scan. You do not have to move any of the parts of your body as I mention them. Simply observe and become aware of your body, breathing as we move through this practice. I invite you to notice the fingers of your right hand, right palm, wrist, forearm, elbow. Notice right upper arm, shoulder, whole right arm. Become aware of the left hand fingers, left palm, wrist, forearm, elbow, left upper arm, shoulder, whole left arm. Neck, left jaw, right side of jaw, left ear, right ear, crown of the head, forehead, eyebrows, eyes, nose, cheeks, mouth. Notice whole face. Become aware of your throat center, heart center, back of the heart, whole upper chest, rib cage, belly, navel center. Notice right hip, thigh, knee, right calf, right ankle, top of foot, bottom of foot, whole foot, whole right leg and foot, left hip, thigh, knee, calf, left ankle, top of left foot, bottom of left foot, whole left foot, whole right leg and foot. Notice whole right side of the body, whole left side of the body. Become aware of the whole body, whole body, whole body. Breathing here in this state of awareness and observation of yourself. There is nothing to do here and nowhere to go. Just breathe. Breathe here in this place and state of relaxation. I will hold space for you here in silence for the next 2 minutes, and I will ring a bell when we're done. I invite you to begin to deepen your breath, feeling your belly and chest rise and fall wherever you are. As it feels comfortable for you, you're invited to make any small, gentle movements in your fingers, your toes, your wrists and ankles. Perhaps gentle stretches along your head and neck, maybe even stretching your arms overhead, beginning to bring more physical energy back into your body. As you're ready, I invite you to roll over to the right side of the body, resting in fetal position if that is a comfortable position for you. Holding here for 3 rounds of breath. 3 deep, cleansing, nourishing breaths. As you are ready, I invite you to press yourself up to a seated position, whatever seat feels best for you following our practice. We will now take a few moments to practice breath work. We will do alternate nostril breathing, or Nadi Shodhana. For this practice, we are going to take our thumb and our ringed finger to close off each of our nostrils at different times. Pressing our index and middle finger down into our palm. If that is uncomfortable for you for any reason, that's okay. You can also use your thumb and index finger instead. So we'll begin by placing our thumb over our right nostril, pressing our ring and pinky fingers up. Breathing in through the left nostril. We'll close it off with the ring finger, opening up the right, exhale out through the right nostril. Inhale right. Close it off, exhale left. That is one full round of Nadi Shodhana. We'll continue this practice for 1 more minute, breathing at your own pace. The practice of alternate nostril breathing helps to balance out the left and right hemispheres of our brain, helping to bring more balance to us. I will join you in this practice and let you know when we're done. The next time you exhale out through the left nostril, I invite you to release your palm down to your lap. Once again, you're invited to close your eyes, hold a soft gaze forward, or keep your eyes open. Just observing the effects of our practice, our relaxation, and our breath work. Noticing whatever comes up for you in this moment. And as you're ready, I invite you to place your palms in prayer position, Anjali Mudra, or one hand over your heart, the other hand on top. One of my teachers shared with me that you still have something blooming at all times. And I want to leave you with that as we conclude this class. A reminder for yourself, whether you're on or off your mat, that no matter what is going on around you, you still have something blooming at all times. I invite you to send an act of gratitude to yourself for showing up today on your mat, for moving, breathing, doing something just for you. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you today. I hope to see you again soon. Namaste.